Tom, aka Gedeon, here for Star Frontiers Gamer. And today we have an unboxing of the... You can't even see them because of the green screen. At any rate, I have two boxes here. They are the Sathar ships and the Federation ships. And you're going to notice a continuity error because in the next segment of the video, these are all tied together and I cut the tie on them. So clearly I am videoing this intro after doing the unboxing. But we're going to do an unboxing of these miniatures and a review of what's in the box. I'm going to talk about issues with them concerning lead rot and the basing and what you can do for some quick and easy modifications, particularly to the UPF frigate, which I have an opinion about that it is not the best looking ship right out of the box. So you know, maybe you disagree, but that's okay. Comments down below. Go ahead. Tell me how I'm wrong. You know, I mean, it's just a, you know, obviously it's just a preference thing, but you know, you might have other ideas. And so we will review this and there will be some follow-on videos. I think we will just use this as an occasion to do some follow-on videos and possibly do just a video that will show you the process of conserving against lead rot. And, you know, we'll go into some basing and painting as well. So let's get to it. Here we have the boxes that were offered to me through the internet. And thanks again to Rob on Discord for thinking of me first. And I have not actually tried to purchase these ships in a long time because I kind of felt like I had been there, done that, and established a nice large collection of Star Frontiers ships for my gaming. I mean, how many battleships and heavy cruisers do you need on the table? So this box right away looks complete because it has the little rules and conversion guide. This looks different than the one I remember having. Like there's more artwork in it. Maybe I'm mistaken. But nice blow up of the picture from the Warriors of White Light module. I like this this artwork one. It shows you how to put these models together, but it's kind of a nice comparison of the ships. Some more cool Nighthawks artwork and the fighters that never saw miniatures. There was no miniatures made for these fighters in the game. However, these miniatures actually exist, and we will probably be doing a video on them soon in the future. And a protractor. Yeah, I'll just get one at Staples. Now, upon inspection, first off, I am looking for lead rot because that is a problem I have had. Oh, wait a minute. We got some right there. So this ship, and there's some right here, but it's very light. This is not heavy. This is actually very, very light. So this is something we can absolutely conserve and save this ship from the plight of lead rot. So that is, we will be doing a baking soda bath to neutralize the acid on there and file that off. And so there is some lead rot. So we're gonna get everything out of this box and inspect it. Yeah, there's some more light surface blooms right there on that heavy cruiser piece. So this is, you know, this is gonna be a little project. But we can definitely conserve these. That's always the fear when you buy this, because since I bought that first battleship, UPF battleship, It came with so much lead rot on it that it was impossible to save it, and then I made it worse in the quest to remove the lead rot. Somebody said navel jelly, and that just, the acid in the navel jelly caused it to just go whole hog on my miniature. So this piece looks good. Nothing. We will separate it from the other pieces. And again, so see, this one's completely untouched. These wires go with these stands for, and I've never actually used these stands. I just kind of looked at them as being a little fiddly. But we will maybe, for the purposes of doing videos for this channel, maybe we will just go ahead and actually base some on the stands that came with it. If the stands had any lead rot, I wouldn't worry about conserving them. I would just toss them. But this Sathar destroyer appears to be pristine and clean from lead rot. And this is a civilian assault scout or a pirate assault scout, and it appears to be clean. And I believe this privateer is called Rollo's Revenge. It's one of the privateers, and it's clear. Now these engines go to this heavy carrier. The heavy carrier's got lead rot, but the engines do not. And I'm actually going to baking soda bath everything, you know, because they're all in the same package. So obviously there is the presence of acid. This is not acid-free packaging. There is the presence of acid in this packaging. And so we're just going to immediately get everything out. We will separate things from those that are contaminated with lead rot to those that are not. So that, you know, and while I want to separate these lead miniatures from their packaging immediately to save on problems, I do save the packaging, you know, for the collector's item that it represents. We have another one of these. You know, if there's oh, this is painted. It's got some paint on it, and it looks clear of lead rot, which is good. Now, it's not, I don't know that it's painted, maybe is that silver paint? That's not a bad paint job. I might let that ride. We'll inspect all these bases later. Here's the big chunk of lead. And wow, that thing looks pristine. That is a pristine looking battleship. That's some heavy metal, baby. And here's all the engines for it. And these look good too. I'm not seeing anything right away. But still, like I said, we'll do baking soda bath. Now, in that first box that I got, this is the UPF frigate. And this matches artwork that they've done elsewhere for the UPF frigate. But this is a stupid looking ship, in my opinion, until you add a couple of these battleship engines. And so when I had that battleship that was trashed and I threw it away, I had all these engines, 2, 4, 6, 8 of them. So I did up 4 frigates with the battleship engines, and then they look more like they should with an atomic drive, you know, engine. The frigate should actually have 3. I did my miniatures with 2, and they look really good. As a matter of fact, let me show you what I'm talking about right here. So you know, you mount a couple of these engines on there, and then suddenly that is a good looking ship, you know, versus versus this. So actually, Tom Stevens has redone these engines as a print, you know, the 3D print file. And so he actually sells these engines now. Now, if it's a straight copy of the actual TSR miniature, he just sells it for the cost of making it. If it's something, if it's a new interpretation of a ship, a new design that he's done, that he's the author of, he sells it for a small piece of profit. So, you know, you could actually purchase some of these engines. They're out there in, you know, 3D print, you know, file formats. You might be able to get the file format and print these engines and then add them to your ship. I highly recommend, because the UPF Cruiser, the deck plans that we have in the books actually support this idea of putting these engines on here. So I added two and ignored this, that this was some, you know, this actually looks like a chemical drive engine. So I just ignored this and I added these two, and that's how I made my ships. And you can actually do what I did as well. It's very easily done. And we've got a tanker here, and this whole box actually looks fairly pristine here. No, and you know, more Assault Scouts. These are, I have a bunch of these. I have a bunch of these, so I don't know if I want to do something different with that or just add to the collection. So yeah, oh yeah, here we go. The fact that I don't like using these, I went and cut an MDF base with the skill. These hexagons are not perfect because the tool that I was using back in the day. I might pursue getting a better base together. And I like this, and the reason why I like this particular base, I'll pull out the battleship, is this bad boy is such a heavy load of metal that I just felt that it needed a good, solid, chunky base. The washer's on there because I was hoping the rubber magnet mat that I put in the bottom of the case this goes in would hold this in place. It does not. And the magnet's just too weak, particularly when you've got this much weight involved. So that bad boy in, you know, and it's been properly done with all of its engines in place. I mean, it is just, now I got two of them. I'm going to have two of them to paint. Well, we will have to do up some convention scenarios with some battleships on the table. That'll probably be fun. But yeah, so I've gone with a bigger base. This one's balsa wood, it appears. That one is MDF. But I went with these, you know, like a more solid base, because there's so much weight of metal there. It just felt like you need that for the, you just need that for the sake of stability with these particular models. And, you know, having two wires supporting it obviously is much better than just one. I mean, you can get away with one on a small model. But, you know, my big heavy Sathar cruisers like this one, two wires into the base and supporting them. So we will do some more videos on the whole process of conserving lead rot and basing and painting these ships. But a special shout out to Rob. I definitely appreciated you offering these to me. This was much simpler than trying to go on eBay and worrying, am I buying a problem with a lot of lead rot? He looked at them and he said he didn't see anything. And quite honestly, what is here is easy to overlook, but it's my thing now to be the expert on lead rot and in old, 1970s and the TSR miniatures of the 80s. So this is a problem you see if you collect these older miniatures from the 70s, various manufacturers, and then the TSR miniatures from the 80s. So very cool. That's unboxing of the Sathar ships and the Federation ships, and these are the boxes where you get the big boys. Very cool, and I was grateful to Rob for offering it to me. And Rob, do not take any comment I've made about lead rot being on here. This is par for the course with these ships, with these miniatures, and I am so grateful to Rob because this is just a very light case of lead rot, and it's quite within my skill set to conserve these. So we will save these from this process of lead rot. We will then get them sealed in an enamel primer so no more environmental acid can get at them, and we will get them painted up nicely and conserved and added to my collection of Star Frontiers miniatures. That's rapidly becoming a very big collection of Star Frontiers miniatures. I mean, we're adding some heavy metal to the collection today. So there you have it. Those are the Sathar ships and the Federation ships. The battleship is wicked cool. I'm actually really happy to be adding a second battleship to my collection. But it is some heavy metal. So when we get to the basing, we're going to try out the original bases that came with it and compare that against my existing battleship that I actually based on a wood base, a bigger wood base that I thought would give it more stability. So until we can get to those videos, this is Tom for Star Frontiers Gamers signing out. And I want to thank you for watching the video. Thanks to my subscribers. You guys are great. And I will see you in the frontier. So this just came in. And I'm going to open it. I'm doing a quick video here, and I'm going to make this an addendum to the unboxing video. This is shrink wrapped, as you can see. And, I got thinking about it after I did the unboxing video that, it might be nice to be outfitted to do a convention, be able to do a convention game where, people have small task force, headed by a battleship, or a Sathar heavy cruiser, or a Sathar carrier. And so I went on eBay and I actually made a purchase. And I made a couple of purchases, actually. And this one just turned up, lickety split. So that was cool. And naturally, I want to get the miniature out of the box and inspect it for the dreaded lead rot. And this is my second shrink wrapped box from TSR, from the original TSR. And so you can see the page is not as yellowed as one of the opened boxes. And we are looking pretty good here. So we will have to do some assembly. But this is looking pristine. And my other shrink wrap box was also pretty pristine. So the shrink wrap box, oh, wait a minute, nope. Right there on that little spine, we'll try to get it in focus. There's a little bit of, pull the old glasses off. Use the Mark I eyeball. There's a little tiny amount. There's a bloom there, and then on this little spine here, it almost looks like flash, but it's intentional, like these little lines here. So there's a little the tiniest amount, easy enough to overlook, and then you wouldn't take care of it, and you'd miss it, and you'd have a problem later on with the model. And the old bendy These thin, flexible metal. But these are looking pristine. These Salt Scouts look pretty good. And check out the engines. Literally just that little tiny, the tiniest of blooms. I'm not seeing anything on the engines. We'll look at them closer later, but just the tiniest of blooms on there. I've practically almost rubbed it off with my finger. And then there's a small amount. There's a very tiny bloom. The light cruiser has got some out of this whole box. That's it. The tiniest amount. So that was cool. So that gives you a baseline for jeez, I haven't had to put one of these together in a very long time. So I'll have to do some modification there, and then some two-part epoxy resin, fill the gaps. But yeah, that'll be my third. So far I've bought 4 of these battleships. One I threw away. I'll probably be cruising eBay looking for another one at the right price point. I don't want them at any price point. I want them at the right price point. I don't want to go so high. And I probably should have bought more of these back in the day when they were going for that, $28, $30 price point, which is what I do believe. This one was in that range, $30 plus shipping to get this one. Rob gave me a really great deal on that one, and then this one I stepped up a little bit to buy. So we're not advertising that price in case the good wife watches the video, and she probably will. So I'll probably end up having to tell her anyhow. But definitely good looking and pristine. So the shrink wrap boxes, I've always been afraid of them because you don't know what you're getting in there, and you can get lead rot, as witnessed on this particular miniature. But so far, the 2 shrink wrap boxes that I have purchased, which were this particular model and this model, have been okay, other than one small bit of lead rot, the smallest of blooms. So it was good that we purchased it, cut the box open, and got to these when we did, because we will halt this process altogether on the lead rot for these particular miniatures. So that's the bonus content. Thanks again for watching. We've already done the extra once, but I want to thank my subscribers. You guys are great. Thank you for watching the video. I hope this was helpful to you, and it gives you an idea about whether or not you want to drop some money on some of these old classic miniatures. I love them, and I love all things Star Frontier, so it's a good fit for me to be dropping a little bit of cash on them here and there. Maybe I'll see you at a convention game sometime, and I'll be bringing out this collection. So until then, this is Tom, and I'll see you in the Frontier.